Hello explorers, thanks for joining us again and welcome back to another exciting and informative video on our YouTube channel. If you are joining us for the first time, we want to thank you for watching. In this episode, I will be looking at the reason why Niger is at the heart of the Sahel crisis. I will discuss it from geopolitical standpoint, illustrate to you as the reason why Niger is an important and strategic location in the Sahel region. I will look at historical information, give you detailed analysis. You don't have to agree with everything I'm about to say in this video, but I will encourage you to watch this video to the end for details and clarity. So without any more delay, let's just dive straight into it. Amid the Sahel escalating turmoil, the coup in Niger has raised concern about uranium commerce, migratory trends, and also threats within the region. If you look at different aspects, the strategic belt of the Sahel is descending into chaos. Sudan has two coups, one in April of 2019, another in 2001 October. Mali saw its first coup in 2020 in August, followed by a second one in May of 2021. In April of 2021, Chad experienced a similar disruption as did Guinea 5 months later in September. The year of 2022 was an enormous horribilis for Burkina Faso with two coups in January, September as well, and finally in July of 2023 came an assault on the government by a military junta in Niger, one of the poorest countries in all of Africa despite its extraordinary uranium reserve. Not forgetting Gabon Bongo as the situation continued to unfold in the region. Moving ahead, Niger's leadership talk of war. If you look at the activities in the region, on July of 2023, the 26th, so to be specific, a group of presidential guard officers led by General Abdurrahman Chiani deposed incumbent president Mohammad Bazoum, offering his arrest and locking him up in his palace in the capital Niamey. Mr. Bazoum, a former school teacher, had assumed the presidency of Niger from Mamadou Issoufou, who after two terms from 2011 to 2021 had accepted popular vote, the country's first democratic transition. The rebels' declared goal was to push an end to the regime due to the deteriorating security situation and bad governance. In reality, their motivations are far more complex. Niger, despite recent efforts, lacks strong government institutions. In addition, the pandemic and also climate change have hamstrung the country's already fragile economic situation. This has increased discontent among population, already tested by jihadist groups and also ethnic tensions. The deposed president, for example, has often been accused of being a power of the foreign powers. Moving ahead, if you consider international reaction in regards to the issues in Niger, power was then subsequently assumed by the junta, named National Council for Safeguarding of Homeland, the CNSP. The European Union, the United States of America, and many African Union countries protested, but to no avail. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to which Niger belongs, held an extraordinary summit in Abuja under the auspices of Nigerian President Bola Tinubu. The organization called for an immediate release of President Bazoum and a full return to constitutional order. Those demands were echoed by the United States of America and the European Union. The latter is particularly concerned about those latest developments in Niger. Instability could derail investment, affect uranium trade, and also send a new wave of migrants towards European countries. For all those reasons, Brussels has expressed strong support for the deposed president. If you look at the geopolitics at its place in the region, on July 30, 2023, French embassy in Niamey was stormed by thousands of people clamoring against France and supporting Russia. Then, during the first week of August, a Nigerian-led ECOWAS delegation traveled to Niger for discussions with the rebel junta. They offered the junta to step down with no military actions taken against the perpetrators of the purge. The junta instead appointed a civilian as prime minister, Ali Mohamed Lamine Zain, former chief of staff in 2001 under then President Mamadou Tanja, and then finance minister in 2002 until 2010 pushed. If you look at different aspects at the events continue to unfold in the region, Lieutenant Colonel Habibu Asumane was named leader of the Presidential Guard to strengthen their hold on power. The rebel military began arresting dozens of members of the ruling party, even detaining the mine minister, a key role Ousmani Hassantou Yakuba. On August 10, the junta presented a new government composed of 21 ministers. Looking at other aspects, if you consider rising resistance and ongoing struggle within the region as we progress in this episode. In parallel, a resistance movement was emerging. On August 3rd, President Bazoum was featured in Washington Post saying that his country is being held hostage by a group of criminals trying to nullify the ballot box by a result produced by 2021 election. He also emphasized that foreign aid constitutes 40% of the national budget. The European Union has halted security collaborations and withheld its planned financial assistance, which was 503 million if you look at figures based on 2021 and 2024 projections. If you look at the jihadist activities, jihadist terrorist groups such as Boko Haram and Islamic State in Greater Sahel region may now have the opportunity to spread. So will criminal networks connected to ethnic groups and also the Fulani in the region, Hausa and also the Tuareg. The juntas revoked all security cooperation with France. Between 1,000 and 1,000 French troops and units were performing counter-terrorism operations in the border area with Mali and Burkina Faso, two Sahel countries that the French were forced to abandon in May of 2022 and February of 2022 respectively, due to failed agreement caused by coups in those countries as well. To this, international contingents should be added, about 1,000 Americans in vicinity of Agadez and also 350 Italians. Looking at records, the American outposts play a particular sensitive role in monitoring terrorist cells in entire areas through drones and other intelligence resources. If you look at uranium supply and the endangered it poses regards to this particular conflict as we move ahead. Uranium was first discovered in Niger in 1957, with the first commercial mine starting to operate in 1971. Today, the country supplies about 5% of the world's entire production. Much of the production is processed and also transported by the French multinational company Orano. That supply, which accounts for a quarter of the uranium used by the European Union nuclear power generation, has apparently been blocked by rebels, although Orano itself has stated that everything is under control based on news information. If you look at the concerns regards to migration, African migrants often transit through Niger on their way to the coast in an attempt to reach Europe. If you look at the way things unfold in the region, between 2016 and 2019, about 1 million migrants were recorded traveling in Niger. Those numbers were largely kept in check thanks to the Nigerian government implementing a new law under which non-Nigerian migrants without valid travel documents found north of the city of Agadez are considered on their way to illegally enter Libya or Algeria and thus intercepted by law enforcement agencies. The deposed president was then Interior Minister and collaborated with the European Union to contain sub-Saharan migrants inflows. If you look at other areas, but now this cooperation will likely collapse based on the events. If you look at Russian presence in the region, at the moment, Russia does not seem to have played a major role in Niger events, but thousands of people in the squatters chanting on behalf of the Kremlin and Wagner Group forces on the day of the attack on French embassy will seem to indicate at least some foreign and also Russian influence. Moving ahead, shortly before he died and in a crash private jet, Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin announced his readiness to back the junta with his mercenaries in the country of Niger. Secretary of State Antony Blinken expressed fears that Wagner Group would exploit the situation to strengthen its grips on the Sahel area. In March of 2023, he had called Niger an extraordinary model at a time of great challenges, a model of resilience, a model of democracy, and a model of cooperation based based on Antony Blinken's own words. Moving ahead, as we confine this scenario to close down this episode, whether the junta remains in power or is dismantled, it's likely that deep social unrest will persist. This situation will prove unsustainable for a country so dependent on foreign aid and inflicted by increasing organizational cross-border crime in southern, eastern and areas between the Maradi and also the Dangamuchi close to Nigeria. If you look at the junta maintaining its grips on power based on information and current news event, this is the most realistic scenario. ECOWAS, considering its present, considering that ECOWAS difficulties, Nigeria has many internal problems at the moment, while Burkina Faso and Mali supports the coup. In addition, the African Union has also opposed any kind of external military intervention. A large-scale military operation in Niger, the largest country in the Sahel, would have been or be very difficult given the limited ECOWAS military resources. Moreover, in recent weeks, thousands of people have manifested the streets in support of the junta, which has an armed contingent of over 30,000 men trained by Western forces and assets not to be underestimated based on historical information, as Niger, Burkina Faso and Guinea in those regions have sent strong warning to any aspect of interference. If you consider Mohammad Bazoum's, the former president, with regards to return to power, this is not going to happen anytime soon. No one should deceive you. This scenario with regards to the appearance is unlikely for Mohammad Bazoum. Mr. Bazoum, who faces persecution for high treason, ECOWAS is not supported by the African Union, has no common strategy internally, and its forces are far inferior in numbers, equipment, and also training commanded by General Jining. As seen in recent weeks, a large part of the capital's population is pro-junta, and therefore an intervention by the mega ECOWAS forces will surely trigger a civil war. Bazoum is not going to be coming back to power. Nothing of that sort will happen. If you look at the geopolitics in the region, African countries are standing up to their colonial masters, specifically France. Those countries have sent a strong statement, and France at the moment is beginning or continuing to hold down in that country of Niger. As you see events on the ground in Niger, Niger has sent a strong message. ECOWAS is nowhere in a position to intervene. France is in a precarious situation, and also the geopolitics in the region. France is one of those countries that has interfered and influenced those African countries in several ways, and France is a country that those particular West African nations, French speaking, should approach and interact in a very cautious way. We want to thank you for watching. Hopefully we've informed you as to the reason why Niger is at the heart of the Sahel crisis and why these particular events in the region should not be taken lightly. We want to thank you for watching, and we hope that the junta in Niger in the months and years ahead will hand power back to a democratically elected president and to bring Niger together to move the country to prosperity. We want to thank you for watching. If you are new to our channel, we encourage you to watch some of our informative videos on the YouTube channel. We are looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Have a good day. Bye-bye.